In the fall of 1944, as World War II raged across Europe, Major Charles Bazooka Charlie Carpenter of the U.S. Army's 4th Armored Division was a man deeply altered by the war he witnessed from above. At 31, Carpenter had flown over 400 hours as an artillery spotter, piloting the L-4 Grasshopper, a light, unarmed observation aircraft derived from the civilian Piper Cub. These planes, with fabric-covered wings and a top speed of just 85 miles per hour, were typically dismissed by both sides as too unimportant to shoot at. But what Carpenter saw from the sky haunted him. He had watched American tank crews die helplessly in their under-armored Sherman tanks. German Panthers, heavily armed and with superior optics, regularly tore through American formations. The disparity was brutal. 75-millimeter shells from the Panthers could penetrate Sherman frontal armor long before the Americans even identified their attackers. Carpenter, flying above the carnage, could do nothing but call in artillery and watch. For 3 months, he observed the slow, painful slaughter of his fellow soldiers, men whose last desperate radio calls for support too often went unanswered in time. Something within Carpenter snapped. Tired of helplessly watching others fight and die, he decided to take the war into his own hands. He approached the airstrip's maintenance crew with an outrageous proposal. Could bazookas, shoulder-fired anti-tank weapons, be mounted on his aircraft's wing struts and wired to fire from his cockpit? At first, the mechanics laughed. Then they realized Carpenter wasn't joking. They agreed to help. Within days, 6 M1 bazooka tubes were bolted to the wings of his L-4, now ominously nicknamed Rosie the Rocketer. The team had to be meticulous. The aircraft's weight capacity was limited, so every ounce counted. The bazookas were angled upward to ensure the rockets would arc toward targets during shallow dives, giving Carpenter a brief window to attack from above. The electrical firing system was wired into toggle switches inside the cockpit, allowing Carpenter to fire each bazooka individually. Though the rockets could penetrate armor, they were useless against the front of a Panther. The solution? Strike from above, aiming for the thinner top armor on the turret and engine deck, only 40 millimeters thick. It was a terrifying gamble. The L-4 had no armor. A single burst from a German machine gun or a flak shell would rip it apart, but Carpenter had seen enough death from above. Now he was ready to return fire. On September 20th, 1944, he made his first attack. German Panthers were advancing on American positions near Aricourt, France. Combat Command A was pinned down. Carpenter took to the air with his modified Grasshopper, 6 bazookas locked and loaded. As he approached the German column, machine gun fire tore into his aircraft. One round punched through his wing. He flipped the first firing switch. Nothing happened. A misfire. He tried the next. This time a rocket launched. It struck a Panther dead center on the engine deck. Smoke and flames erupted. The tank was immobilized. He had done it. A tank destroyed by an observation plane. Carpenter continued his run, dodging enemy fire, launching rocket after rocket. He destroyed an armored car and damaged other vehicles. He returned to the airstrip, had the rockets reloaded in under 2 minutes, and went back up. In a second sortie, he hit more vehicles, disabled another Panther, and scattered German infantry. His actions allowed trapped American support crews to escape. In a single day, he flew 3 sorties, damaged or destroyed multiple German vehicles, and stopped a counterattack that could have cost dozens of lives. Word spread rapidly. Soldiers, pilots, and journalists flocked to the airstrip. A correspondent from Stars and Stripes documented the unprecedented feat. General John Wood, commander of the 4th Armored Division, asked Carpenter whether other pilots could do the same. Carpenter's answer was simple: only if they were willing to fly low and get shot at. Within a week, 3 more pilots were flying modified Grasshoppers. Though none matched Carpenter's success, they proved the concept worked. Carpenter's daring innovation forced a shift in German tactics. By September 25th, German commanders were ordered to shoot down any American observation plane on sight. The unspoken agreement to spare unarmed L-4s was over. Carpenter had turned them into threats. The Germans adapted quickly. On October 3rd, a German flak gunner opened fire on an L-4 just for having tubes under its wings. Carpenter noticed the difference immediately. Where he once flew above the battlefield unmolested, now every German gun opened fire the moment they spotted him. Panzer turrets tracked him. Flak batteries took aim. He adjusted his tactics, flying lower using terrain for cover, approaching from unexpected directions. The M1 bazookas were no longer enough. Panther tanks were being reinforced. The Tiger II was entering combat, its armor impervious to older rockets. Carpenter's crew upgraded Rosie with 6 M9 bazookas, firing more powerful M6A3 rockets with improved penetration. The modifications pushed the aircraft's limits but gave Carpenter a better chance against increasingly lethal targets. Throughout October, Carpenter flew sortie after sortie. He destroyed trucks, armored cars, and tanks. On October 13th, he caught a Panther tank crew outside their vehicle. His rocket strike set the tank ablaze. His confirmed kill count grew. German intelligence began referring to him as Der Verrückte Major, the Mad Major radio. Intercepts warned of the dangerous small aircraft with rockets under its wings. Carpenter had become a symbol of both American ingenuity and unpredictable aerial threat. By mid-October, the German army prepared a counteroffensive to retake territory in France. Carpenter would be right in the middle. On October 19th, Patton's Third Army launched an assault on Chateau Salin's intelligence, revealed over 60 German armored vehicles positioned along a ridge. General Wood summoned Carpenter and gave him a direct order, not only to observe but to attack. Carpenter took off at dawn with 2 other rocket-equipped L-4s. They located the German position and struck from behind. The element of surprise was total. His first salvo disabled 2 Panthers and a Tiger II. His wingmen followed up. In seconds, 7 tanks were destroyed or immobilized. The German defensive line collapsed before the ground assault even arrived. Later that day, Carpenter attacked a German fuel convoy, destroying 4 trucks and igniting explosions that destroyed the entire supply line. On his third mission, he destroyed enemy artillery threatening American positions. By day's end, Carpenter had flown 6 sorties, firing 36 rockets and turning the tide of battle single-handedly. The 4th Armored Division took Chateau Salins with minimal losses. General Patton's staff quickly took notice. Carpenter was ordered to share his techniques. A tactical bulletin was issued formalizing his approach. Bazookas on liaison aircraft were now official doctrine. 9 more squadrons received approval. By December, nearly 50 rocket-equipped L-4s operated in France. These small planes couldn't replace fighters, but they proved devastating for hit-and-run attacks on soft targets. The German response grew desperate. Tanks mounted additional machine guns to engage aircraft. Flak positions were reinforced, but the Cubs were simply too agile, too small, and too unexpected. The Germans were looking for thunderbolts at 300 miles per hour. Carpenter came in at 85 miles per hour, low and silent. By the time they saw him, he was already gone. In December, Major General Wood nominated Carpenter for the Silver Star. The medal was awarded in January 1945. Officially, Carpenter was credited with 6 tank kills, 2 Tigers and 4 Panthers, making him America's only airborne tank ace. Eyewitnesses claimed his true total may have exceeded 14. Carpenter never boasted. After the war, he returned to Illinois and resumed teaching high school history. He rarely spoke of his exploits. Students who asked about the Silver Star on his classroom wall were redirected to discussions of the Constitution or the Civil War. He believed others, infantrymen, tank crews, deserved more recognition. In 1945, Carpenter was diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease, an aggressive cancer. Doctors gave him 2 years to live. He defied the prognosis and taught for 2 decades before passing away in 1966. At his funeral, 47 former L-4 pilots attended. Everyone credited Carpenter with proving that small planes could fight back. His aircraft, Rosie the Rocketer, survived the war. Forgotten and repainted by an Austrian civilian, it sat in a museum until rediscovered in 2017 by researchers at the American Heritage Museum. Painstakingly restored, it now hangs suspended in an exhibit, bazooka tubes mounted, facing a Panther tank, forever frozen in mid-attack. Major Charles Carpenter did more than destroy tanks. He transformed the role of observation aircraft in modern warfare. His tactics laid the foundation for low-altitude attack helicopters, influencing the very doctrine that Apache pilots train under today. He saw a problem that no one else had solved, and he solved it with 6 bazookas, a Piper Cub, and the unshakable belief that he could make a difference.